Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow. And everywhere that Mary went, Mary went, Mary went. Everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. Good Shepherd Sunday is an excellent opportunity to remember that we, the sheep of Jesus' flock, must be sure to follow the Good Shepherd wherever he goes, because sin threatens to lead us astray. By this point in John's Gospel, sin already has done so with the Pharisees, who, blinded by sin, count themselves as Jesus' enemies. His great love for his flock is what makes him the Good Shepherd. In the dark valley, he is always at their side to protect them, as the 23rd Psalm says. And thanks to his care, they never go without the food and water they need. I've never been a shepherd, but I know somebody who works with sheep. And sheep can really get their shepherd mad through their stupidity, such as wandering away or stepping in a crevice and breaking a leg. But this isn't doing wrong. One beautiful thing about all animals, but for one, is they can't do wrong. They can't sin. Even when a wolf eats a sheep, there is no wrong in that. A wolf can't form an evil intention and only eats the sheep out of hunger. Only one animal has the capacity to do wrong, and in fact is quite skilled at it, at sinning. And here you are in this room along with me. This quality of the flock, led by the Good Shepherd, is what most of all earns him the title of good. Actually, good is not nearly strong enough an adjective. He should be known by something else. Maybe we should call him the quintessential shepherd. A fancy way of saying he's the best. Because in his tremendous love, he goes so far as to even allow his flock to butcher him on a cross. You see, sin is the issue. Because of sin, the shepherd from on high became the only solution to the disaster that Adam and Eve entered into when they ate the forbidden fruit. Such shepherds as Moses, the prophet Deborah, King Solomon, King Josiah, the prophet Elijah, all of them inevitably failed on account of the people's brokenness and their own. Satan was more than a match for them. The human flock and all other created things are very good. So God pronounced on the 6th day in the book of Genesis, after fashioning man and woman. However, the onset of sin brings about a very sinister transformation in that beautiful and good flock. The innocent sheep, well, they're innocent no more. Sheep that are woolly, that go bah, and move around on 4 hooves cannot bear malice, make selfish choices, and act out of hate. For the sheep that Jesus came to save, however, it's a very different story. One reason Jesus the shepherd is called good is because despite knowing what his flock will inflict on him, he accepts the job anyhow. He sticks with it as the most hostile sheep who call themselves Pharisees, chief priests, scribes, tetrarchs, emperor, and prefects plot his demise. He sticks with it even as his sheep buddies, who call themselves his disciples, repeatedly let him down. A lot of them abandon him because they find his teaching offensive. Those who choose to hang in there not infrequently misunderstand him, grumble, try to steer him away from the course he needs to follow, and resist his way of love. Even the most faithful among them, in the end, hightail it. We look at Peter, James, John, Mary Magdalene, and the other followers who, though weak, faithfully embrace the work the quintessential shepherd gives them as he ascends to his Father. These are the good sheep. So are Paul of Tarsus, Francis of Assisi, Therese of Lisieux, Anthony of Padua, Francis Xavier, Damien of Molokai, Elizabeth Ann Seton, and Mother Teresa of Calcutta. These are the sheep that we long to resemble. Yet, holy as they are, how much they resemble sheep we remember as notoriously evil. I have in mind such sheep as Al Capone, Jack the Ripper, Bernie Madoff, Osama bin Laden, and Adolf Hitler. Now, I know that comparing these holy people to the likes of these evil ones sounds absolutely preposterous, but I'm afraid it is true. Even somebody like Francis of Assisi, celebrated for his gentle, loving ways, is so very capable of devising horrors associated with the most evil people we can call to mind. And that's true of you and me. No less than Francis, Adolf Hitler had it in him to be a saint. The Holocaust's gas chambers and ovens that claimed millions was a horror that happened not because Hitler was inherently evil, but because Satan is so powerful and persuasive, and Hitler listened to his voice instead of the Good Shepherd's. This penchant on the part of humanity also explains various evils so evident in our world today, like nuclear weaponry and nerve gas, hungry people amidst plenty, tides of refugees vilified and forbidden safe havens, abortion and euthanasia, governments that prey on the poor and cater to the rich, child sexual abuse, and planet Earth smothering in carbon emissions. My friends, these horrors are not preordained. They are the evil fruit of Satan's nearly irresistible power. Because God designed us in his own image, we should be overflowing with life and love. Witnessing what goes on in our world, a visitor from another planet instead would think that we have more in common with Satan than with our divine Father. After all, we did butcher his only begotten Son. Everywhere that Mary went, Mary went, Mary went. Everywhere that Mary went, the Lamb was sure to go. The life and love that are part of our design can flow from us. And that's the good news. It will flow from us. But only if we go everywhere the Good Shepherd goes. That means listening to his voice, not Satan's. That means cooperating with his love, the only love that defeats Satan. Sin is terrifying. It's a terrifying reality. But the good news is it quakes before the love of God revealed in Jesus. And the good news is we have access to that love here at Mass. Jesus is not just the Good Shepherd. He is the quintessential shepherd because he never abandons his flock and even accepts death inflicted on him by his flock. Well, the church, all of us, we are that wayward flock. We're formed as such through the sacrament of baptism, which gives us the task to love as Jesus loved, and in this way to make all people sheep in the same holy flock. This is not beyond us. Well, it is if we try to do it on our own. But it is not beyond us as long as we seek the twofold antidote to sin. And we know that antidote well. It's called Eucharist, and it's called reconciliation. Remember in Psalm 23, the Good Shepherd leads the sheep to verdant pastures and restful waters. Well, that's what the Good Shepherd provides for us here at Mass in the form of Eucharist, so that we sheep can hear his voice and have the power to follow. Well, for reconciliation, since sheep sometimes aren't all that smart and go astray, that sacrament is what brings us home. By means of Eucharist and reconciliation, brothers and sisters, we will be sure to go everywhere the Good Shepherd leads. And then he will grant us that gift we all long for, abundant life.